the most high profile, the men's, I was going to say men's 100-meter dash, but the short sprints in Grand Slam track, that's where we saw Kenny B go and really just sweep everything. Back to back to back from Kingston to Miami to Philly, 100, 200. And he showed up like, okay, Grand Slam track matters. And we saw last year, he finished at the Olympic Games, 100 meters. Noah Lyles got that gold medal. Kishane Thompson got the silver. Fred Curley got the bronze. Kenny B is kind of a little back in the pack, finished seventh place. Stepped up in the 200. Letsile got the gold. Kenny got the silver, and Noah was third. But now he showed up in Grand Slam track. So starting off with Kenny before we dive into some others, I wonder what you think of what you thought of Kenny and his at least his performances in Grand Slam.
When it comes to his performances, the first thing was he took care of business.
Hmm.
Let's start there. Because Kenny has been, I don't, you can't, he's an underrated athlete. He's a sleeper pick for many people when it comes to winning things. And like, he's so close. Like, he's so close to the top. So I think what he did is he took, not just taking care of business, like there's what we saw, and then what did it mean? So
Hmm.
from what we saw him dominate these fields. Now, what does it mean? That's the question. Right now, I'm not sure yet. It starts to, part of me wants to say he is who he thought he was. He's Kenny B.
Yeah.
That's who he is. But like, notice I didn't say he's the baddest man on the planet in sprinting yet, because the real question is, did they ever give him a field that was worthy of his talent? And
Mm.
I say that between the 100 and the 200. And because I think what we're realizing is that there's levels to this. And I'm looking at the Olympic 100-meter final right now, like the
Yeah.
100 specifically. He was ahead of Oblique in that final.
No.
Oblique pulled up, but he ran 991. That's a fast pull up, just saying. And every other name on that list, save Fred. So I guess Fred is, but Fred only raced him once.
Yeah. Once in Kingston, that's
Yeah,
it.
and nobody was taking Fred over him in the two.
No. No. No.
Nobody was
No
doing
one was.
that.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
Fred is the only person here you could argue with worthy of him just based off of last year's performance at the games, who
Yeah.
actually was on the line. And I say
Yeah.
worthy than like, well, somebody who's actually beat you.
Hmm.
He's the
Yep.
only one. So because we only saw him in one slam and nobody else had actually beat him, correct me if I'm wrong, no one else in the field ever beat him in 2024.
No. Not in the 100 and definitely not in the two.
Because he barely ran
From
the 100, so he didn't get a lot of chance to lose.
that's true.
And then
That's
in the
true.
200, like, yeah, I wasn't running with him.
No, but literally in the 200, it's literally, let's be honest, over the past, what, since 2021 at the Olympics, the only two people to beat Kenny B on the podium are Noah Lyles and Letsile Tebogo. Those are the only two people. If you're not named
Oh, Knight
Noah
that one
or,
time.
oh, yes, that's true. Night in,
He
oh,
was
yeah,
hurt.
it's 2023. That's true. And Kenny was hurt. But like when we're talking about fully healthy Kenny, if your name is not Noah and your name is not Letsile, then you're probably finishing you're not ahead of Kenny. That's what it is in the 200 specifically. So I don't know that he. So okay, so my question then is I'm sorry, Kenny B dominated Grand Slam track. Season is over. Grand Slam season is over.
Yeah.
Now as we look forward, what does this mean? And we can let's just keep in 100 because I think that's a little more interesting. Like, what does this look like for Kenny going forward in the 2025 season?
Hmm. Well, what does it look like for Kenny compared to everything else we already saw? So I'm gonna ask you, who are there names? I'm pretty sure I already know the answer is yes. Who you would still take over him if we said we're gonna run 100 next week, and we're putting him in line against? Like, are there people who you would take over him from what we've already seen this season?
From what we've already seen this season, yes. Like, yes. Being completely honest, I at least one, and it's tough because obviously, like, Kenny has run 987, he's run fast, but like if I'm being honest, like in a race with Kishane Thompson, Trayvon Bromell, Akani Simbine, I can see a world where Kenny finishes anywhere. I mean, he could win it, sure, that can happen, but he can theoretically also finish in fourth place there, based on what we know right now. Right? I didn't mention Noah because Noah hasn't run in 2025 yet, so TBD. I'm sure he'll be ready by the time we get to Worlds, but right now. I can imagine Trayvon, Kishane, even Akani. Like I can imagine them beating Kenny.
Uh,
It'd be
so,
close,
ev-
but yeah.
so what you're saying is, even if you took off Letsile and Noah,
Hmm.
who are both world medalists 2023, 1-2, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Gold
they,
and silver.
one, yeah, 1-2 in the 100. And then they were both there in the final ahead of him last year. Take them out. He's still off the podium, is what you just said.
It's and
That's
it
that's
sucks.
essentially what you just said, which is like not that you don't believe in his chance to win, but it's just
Yeah.
that it's a chance. Okay, let me here's another way. Theoretical probability says you get a 1 in 4 shot. Do you believe he has a 1 in 4 shot of beating all of them? Theoretical probability, is it actually equal opportunity, or
I
is it less
mean,
than that?
it's it's probably a little. It's probably less than that. Or
Okay,
like yeah. It's
because that's
probably
exactly how I
yeah
felt.
yeah
It's a little less than 1 out of 4 that he's going to actually beat all of them in a
all of them
one-off race, whether it's the big one or not. So if
exactly.
if that's the case, then it's like, so yeah, like when we put it in perspective, like what did we witness? Because the 200, that was a foregone conclusion. You said like, okay, let's focus on the 100. I'm gonna throw the 200 in there. That was a foregone conclusion. I ain't seen nobody in them fields who I ever felt had a shot to beat him.
No.
Jarnell would have had to give us like his I'm gonna try to beat Bolt race or something. And then even then, I still because like people don't realize how Kenny is actually one of the most rock solid sprinters we have in the game
Yeah.
because he's really, really good, but he's also able to stay up at that level for a long period of time. However,
Hmm.
his really, really good isn't perfect. And nobody is perfect per se, but we've seen people get slightly closer. And that's why he doesn't get those golds, like historically. And again, I'm saying this from a track analyst perspective. I'm not trying to pick it apart like a coach. I'm picking it apart as like, let's talk about these races like they actually matter. The same way they talk about basketball.
Hmm.
If we're talking about these races on these circuits like they actually matter, that's how I'm assessing it. That he's really, really, really good. You put as many as you want on there, but there's that next level. And there's a few people, small number, but a few who can actually operate there.
Yeah.
And the question is, can he operate up there with them or ahead of them? And so far, he's always just right up there, but because he's the one who's like, I'm confident this year he's getting a 200-meter medal. That I'm confident about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not doubting that part. I'm just not sure it's going to be gold again.
Mm.
Because I mean, I just put something out on Noah when we talk about the 200, and we'll get back to the 100 in a moment. People don't realize how good Noah actually was or is. Like they don't understand. Like all these world leads you seeing ain't Noah. He was opening his season faster than all these guys. Like they
I
done
know.
ran all the way through till now. And whatever he opened his season at last year was faster than anything you've seen. And he did that in a minus headwind.
Mm.
Like, you see what I'm saying? Like that's the levels. But Sile is different because he came out here running slow in terms of like where he was in his training and so on. And then we
Yeah.
saw him, essentially, get hurt or, slow up in a race. And then
Yeah.
we haven't seen him for a while. Maybe he's fine, but just, hey, let me just get out of racing all this stuff right now in the diamond and just train. Like maybe
Yeah.
that's where he's at. So to come back to the 100, like, okay, let's just go here. What if Kenny does win the 100? Then what?
If he wins the 100 at the World Champs later this year, I think that provides almost like validation to his entire season. Whereas like I was able to kick off my season in what was it, the top of April or whatever it was, the first weekend of April, dominate in Grand Slam, against again, like you said, guys who really weren't worthy of, Kenny B in this case.
That's the only way I
But
can say it.
I know it's let's be honest, it's the truth. When we go down the names, it's honestly the truth. But if
Right
he's
now.
able to,
Sorry, let me
right, yeah,
say,
as
let me
of
add
good
right
point,
now because there were some
good
good people
point.
in there. Just
Yeah, to
right
be
this
fair,
minute, let's be honest,
yeah,
none of y'all was ready for that smoke.
exactly. So if he dominates Grand Slam track, in theory, if we're saying he's going to win the World Champs, then he's probably going to win USA's, or at least Noah doesn't have to compete at USA. So in theory, Kenny's probably on paper the favorite. So that would validate the season that he has. That's what I think. I don't know. What do
Trayvon
you what
could
do you
beat him
think?
at USA's though. Like just
Trayvon, that's
off of what
true.
you just said, like there's a
That's
world
true.
in which Trayvon beats him at USA's and Kenny could beat him at Worlds.
That's
I
a
could
good
see
point.
that happening.
Yeah,
So I
that's
wouldn't
actually a good point.
even because people will forget what happened at USA's.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll
If you
they'll
get
just
to
act like
Worlds,
it never happened.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So, but yeah, so if he wins, to pick up from what you said, I think
Hmm.
that totally reshapes the narrative of his career
Oh
because
yeah.
now because finally that puts him on the A tier. He's not the B plus A minus tier. He's the teetering between B plus A minus in my model. That puts him on the A tier. That's why
Mm-hmm.
Fred is on the A tier for the record. That's
Yeah,
why he's there because he has
he got that goal.
you got that one, and you just need to get that one. And now it's like I'm officially on the A tier, and we will always have to because like once you win one, we know you can win it again.
Yeah, yeah.
And for people who've never won one, we don't know if you ever will. That's how
It's fair.
sports works. It's not just track. Remember, I come from other worlds. In the basketball world, with LeBron, I remember when people were like, "Is he ever going to win a chip?" And then he
Yeah,
finally won
there
one,
was years. Yeah.
and then they were like, "Oh, okay, he won it." And then after a while, like people started having blind faith in LeBron. Like he was bringing teams that had no business being in the NBA Finals, and they was just like, "Well, they got Bron."
That's actually literally what happened. Like
That
he
was the
literally,
logic.
literally.
So, like in track, it's the same way where like you got to get that first one
Hmm.
before people really believe that you can. But hey, I mean, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the Kung Fu Kenny show. We got to witness it across the slams, but that I'm gonna close my thoughts right there.
No, that makes sense. Well, I
The
mean,
show must go on.
the show must go on. The show is going to continue. We got the rest of the year. My name is Anderson from The Final Leg.
And I'm Coach Rob from SCA Track and Field. And thank you for watching this segment from The Finish Line.
If you want to know what's really going on at the high school and college level, be sure to subscribe to Coach Rob Track and Field.
And if you want more content on the best track and field athletes in the world, be sure to subscribe to The Final Leg.